It's time for Wolo and Friends on Sports 56, presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here's your host, the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
Welcome in. Nice to be home. The journey has come to an end. So close to, I would be leaving tomorrow for San Francisco. And the Tigers and the Hogs, that would have been a lot of fun. Wasn't meant to be. But what a year it was. The ending leaves you, I think, with hope. And that's all you can ask. It leaves you realizing this was a pretty good basketball team in the long run, probably a top 10 team. The game with Gonzaga felt like a Final Four game. It was that intense, that well played, that physical, that talented. A lot of fun. Except for the last score, final score, a lot of fun. We saw a guy who was just incredible. It has been brought to my attention by several of people, not even some friends, but people who have texted, who have said, first it was Bill Walton, and now it was Drew Timme. I don't know that Drew Timme is Bill Walton, but he played like Bill Walton in the second half when he scored 11 straight points and willed his team back into the game. It was a terrific game, and, it leaves you with hope in a lot of different fronts. First off, I think Penny proved he's a heck of a coach. Anybody that wants to deny that just is not a Penny fan. They're not being realistic. They're not being logical. He showed you he can beat all different kinds of styles and hang with them. When you take 2 out of 3 from a Sweet 16 team and a coach like Kelvin Sampson, who is on the verge of getting to 700 wins, it would tell you something when you go toe-to-toe with Mark Few, who, when a panel was asked who might end up surpassing the win total of Mike Krzyzewski, part of the panel said, that could be Mark Few. I think you probably need a younger guy than Mark Few that may be on the way up. I don't know. We'll see. But when you go toe-to-toe with him and have him on the ropes, pretty darn good. Pretty darn good. And I don't know if any of you saw this last night, but Imani Bates tweeted out a picture of himself in a Tiger uniform saying, "It's time to go to work." Okay. If you gain 20 pounds of muscle and you play under control like you did in the NCAA, there is a lot of hope for sure. Josh Minot comes back. I think he will. Don't forget, a kid named John Camden was a redshirt. Jonathan Lawson's supposed to be a terrific player. He was a redshirt. There's the transfer portal. I know of 4 or 5 that I think are headed to Memphis that will make a difference. It'll be interesting to see. Penny said he was hungrier than he has ever been.
It's cryptic message season, Dave. It's already starting. We don't know what that Imani picture means. Maybe he's coming back,
Don't you think that means? Because
that's what I'm saying.
He would have tweeted it out in a different uniform, wouldn't he, if he wasn't coming back to Memphis? And honestly, where's he going to go? Now, he could go to Australia and New Zealand, the Breakers, whatever that league is. They pay about $500,000 a year. He might be able to do that. I think he'd be taking a pay cut, honestly. Although I don't know if he stays in Memphis, he gets the kind of money he got last year. Last year, I know what he got. He got in his deals about $1 million. So the majority of that came from Nike. So I don't know that he's going to get that again. But I know he did last year. But he'd probably take a pay cut wherever he goes, right? He could go to Michigan State or Michigan, but I don't know if those 2 coaches are really interested. He's here. I thought it was a positive sign he'd be coming back when Penny took him on the trip and played him in the NCAA tournament. That was a subtle message right there, as you say, cryptic.
But his attitude was good. Like in the game, on the bench, it was never like, what his reported attitude is. You didn't see it over the weekend.
Yeah. No. It was terrific. I don't know if Halo comes back. He had that senior night. Maybe that was cryptic. Maybe that was a message that he's not coming back. I don't know about Williams. Williams would be ending up 27 years old when next season comes to an end. Is he going to go to Europe and make some money? He's good enough. I mean, if you can't tell that when he could shoot over Holmgren and Timmy and play as tough as he did, that he can't play in Europe somewhere, he can play.
No, he'll find a league to play in.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know why he would come back. Certainly he can. DeAndre Williams had 14 points and 7 rebounds against that front line.
No kidding.
Holy mackerel. That tells you something right there. I don't know what happens with Tyler Harris. Maybe Tyler tries to make some money in Europe. I don't know. He's fast enough, and he can shoot well enough. It's just that he's small. He's got to go to a league that doesn't have giant players in it. But, there were a couple of moments in that game where you knew he could play with absolutely anybody. So we'll see. This year was dramatic. I think a lot of people are tired because of all of the drama. You're 9-8, and you flip the switch. And I love the way Mark Few put that. He goes, the hardest thing in sports is to flip the switch. In other words, when you're on a bad road and it looks like everything is going south, it is hard to do a 180. It really is. And Penny was able to accomplish that. And the teams that he beat down the stretch, finally getting SMU, that to me was special. So SMU is still in the NIT, right? They're still alive?
I believe so. Let me check.
And Kansas State has not hired their coach yet, right? So that kind of makes me think Jankovic is a leading candidate for that job. I'm making that up. I'm just trying to be logical.
Wow. SMU lost last night to Washington State by 12.
Wow. And they lost at home because they were –
That's right.
They were a 1 seed, so they were getting the games at home. That's a little shocking. When you're in the NIT, it's basically, do you really want to win? And have your players still stayed bought in?
And it says Kansas State is set to hire Baylor assistant Jerome Tang. This is from 14 hours ago, so pretty new news here.
Okay, so that's good for SMU and Memphis and the league, the America, because Jankovic is a heck of a coach. So, all right. There's so many good stories here with the bracket that it is amazing to me, and that's why I love the NCAA. If you take a look, first off, first and second days, I was 12-4 and then 11-5. I had 7 of the Elite 8 left in, okay? I had 14 of the Sweet 16 still remaining after the first 2 days.
That's far better than I can tell.
That's round 1. Round 2, not so good. Because in round 2, as I'm looking at this, I got Gonzaga and Arkansas. I got Texas Tech and Duke. That's the only region I got right. And by the way, that's the only region that is chalk. So I like to do this thing. I learned this from George Lapidus, but I think it's right on, and I think it's fun. You kind of can tell if they've seeded you correctly, which is the weaker or the hardest of the regions, if you, at the Sweet 16 mark, count up the total seed points. In other words, 10 is chalk, which is exactly what you got in the West. You got 1 Gonzaga against 4 Arkansas. That's 5 points from seeding. And then you got 3 Texas Tech against number 2 Duke. So that's a 1, 4, 2, 3. That's 10 if you add up the seed points. Then, if you go down in the bracket and you go to Philly, which is the East, that's when it's nuts. You've got an 8 North Carolina against a 4 UCLA. Then you got a number 3 Purdue. So you have a 3 and a 4. That's kind of chalky. But you got an 8 North Carolina knocking off Baylor, which, by the way, was a Final Four team of mine.
Crazy game, too.
Yeah. And then you got the story, the surprise, the winner, the biggest winner in my mind of this first two rounds, and that's St. Peter's.
Well, if you didn't think St. Peter's was going to win, Dave, you're just not watching college basketball.
2,200 students, a $1.5 million budget. First, they knock off. Well, they just destroyed the heart of Kentucky. They beat Kentucky, then they beat Murray. Is there anybody left in Kentucky? They're all buried.
St. Peter's owns Kentucky.
St. Peter's, are those the ones that meet you at the gate, the heavenly gate?
That's right.
When you're dead? Because they killed them all.
That's right. Exactly.
Crazy. So you add up 8-4, 3-15. Ladies and gentlemen, 30 points. That's about as many points as I've seen in doing this over all these years. And there's one that competed with it. Couldn't quite get there. But the Midwest, you got a 1 and a 4, so you're chalk on the upper end of that bracket, Kansas and Providence. But then you got Iowa State and Miami. That's an 11 and a 10. You add all those together, and you've got 26. Crazy.
I'm proud to say I have Iowa State in the Sweet 16. It's the only team I can tout as having in the Sweet 16, I'm afraid. Not really, but it's one of the only ones.
Iowa State's the only team you have in the Sweet 16?
No, I got a couple others, but it's one of the only ones, that's for sure.
Well, I've got the 4, the chalk. I went chalk in the West. Let's see. The only one I got is Purdue. That's the only one from there. I did have Arizona. I actually picked Illinois to beat Houston.
So did I.
Houston was terrific, so that's 6. I have did I have – I don't think I had Michigan.
Houston's playing really scary basketball. It's like speaking of flipping a switch, that's almost what they did when the conference tournament started, and the level of basketball they're playing right now is otherworldly almost.
I only have 7 of the Sweet 16. That's about as bad as it gets.
That's more than me.
And then in the South, where it's Arizona, Houston, Michigan, Villanova, that's an 11 that got in, right? So that total is 11 total. No, it has to be more than that. So it's 11, 13, 18, 19. 19 is the total in the South. So the only one chalk 10 is the West, and the craziest one is East, but Midwest is a rival with 26 points. Crazy tournament all told. Lovely, fun, what more can you say? And, you absolutely love what you have with the Tigers. So I said I think the biggest winner is St. Peter's. I would say the biggest loser, there may be 2. I mean, it's a good fight between the SEC, which has 1 team out of 6 left in the Sweet 16. And it makes you wonder, people were complaining, Tennessee, how could they be a 3 seed? 3 seeds are supposed to get to the Sweet 16.
That's a tough game, though. Michigan's playing good basketball, too, and a lot of people didn't even want Michigan into the tournament.
Tennessee let that get away. They had
did.
That.
They absolutely did. And that was a tough game to watch,
and
too.
People are going to sit there and they're going to wonder and question Rick Barnes.
Yeah.
Because Rick Barnes has done less with good talent than most people would think you would. When you have a Kevin Durant, a P.J. Tucker, this team.
DJ Augustine.
I thought this team, seriously, not to make any kind of excuses for Rick Barnes because he doesn't deserve them because of his attitude, frankly. But I thought his team had really good guard play, and I thought his team was not that good up front. And, that sort of came through.
Yeah, and as good as their guard play was, you got to also remember the Kennedy's a freshman, and so is Ziegler. Ziegler's also a freshman, and it's really tough to win when you got young guys as primary ball handlers. But I think we also should mention Tennessee did win the SEC.
You got to put Vescovi in there,
and because he's handling the ball a lot too. Yeah. That's true.
But those are 3 really good guards.
It is.
That's what I'm saying. They were guard laden,
and they started playing those big guys together too, and they certainly got a lot better in that regard, but that really was a weak point all
he started playing, Plavsic?
Yeah, but he started playing a lot more minutes.
He played a lot more toward the end.
And Josiah Jordan James,
when
too.
Memphis was, that kid became a good player.
Really did.
Because he was not very good. When I was doing my charts for that game with Memphis that never took place, Plavsic wasn't playing. and James was horrible. If you looked at his numbers, like he couldn't shoot at all. He came on at the end of the year. But there's Kentucky.
That's a bad.
Did you see the note that John put out to the alums, basically saying, "Don't be mad at the team. Be mad at me. I'm and I can take it. I'm focused on recruiting. Don't worry. I'll get us back to the promised land." But you know how much I love John. I really and truly am the hugest John Calipari fan. I just thought he made everything exciting. I think he's a terrific coach. But when you look to see what he has accomplished at Kentucky, it's limited. I hate to say this, but somebody tweeted this out, and it is telling. Tubby Smith versus John Calipari during their last 7 seasons at Kentucky. This is after they won the national title, okay? Tubby, 2001 to 2007, 177 wins. Cal, 2016 to 2022, 175 wins. Winning percentage for Tubby, 74.5%. Winning percentage for Cal, 73.5%. Tournament wins for Tubby, 13. For Cal, 9. Elite Eights, both of them with 2. Tournaments missed, none for Tubby. He went to the tournament every year. Cal missed one last year. So if you all thought that Tubby lost his fastball or couldn't recruit or whatever it was, and you look at the numbers on John, whoo, man, they both got one. They got one title, but the last 6 or 7 years haven't been so good for John at Kentucky. And they always get decent seeding, and even the one year they got a 9 when they beat Wichita State. That was, that wasn't. I guess that wasn't the best of seeding, but
they had gotten a lot better from where they were at the beginning of the season that year too, and they were playing much better than a 9 seed that year.
So just crazy stuff. And the Big Ten, I mean, heck, the Big Ten was awful right from the get-go. And what do they have left in the pack? In
Michigan.
And they got 2 teams, Michigan and Purdue.
Yeah,
and Michigan was the worst seed of all of them.
Came out of nowhere.
11.
But they'd been playing good basketball, too, up until the conference tournament.
Well, they did. I mean, I think they lost their mojo a little bit with their coach not playing.
Yeah, no kidding.
Not coaching, being dismissed, but and you talk about a guy who I think did a 180 on his image, and that's Juwan Howard, but with the embrace of Kennedy Chandler, that was pretty good stuff. So we got more. We'll talk about more of this. We got TJ Reeves coming up here in the next segment, but you know what we do always. On Mondays, we end our very first segment with Precious Metals. I am going to give a bronze medal to Sam Burns. Sam Burns won his 3rd PGA Tour event in a calendar year. That's pretty good. And he was a repeat winner of the Valspar in Tampa St. Pete in a playoff. Some pretty high-level competition. I'm going to tell you what, 16, 17, and 18 at that course, those are tough holes, man. You better be accurate. You better have all the shots. You better be able to shape them, which, I'll be able to do after my lessons with Ted Butler coming up. And we're going to start golf here in the next week or so, now that basketball is just about over. Sam Burns gets a bronze medal from me. I'm going to give a silver medal to the NCAA tournament, because there is always so many great storylines, from the SEC's weakness to the St. Peter's surprise to just the game between Gonzaga and Memphis, or last night between TCU and Arizona, or overtime games. And I think we've had 6 or 7 of those.
Yeah.
We've had, now I want to say it's 17 higher seeds beat lower seeds. This is what you get. And this is why we love it. And I guarantee, I think the numbers are going to be out through the roof on this tournament. We'll see about that. And then my gold medal has to go to LeBron James. Wolo. Why NBA and LeBron in the middle of the NCAA tournament? Because LeBron James became the number 2 scorer all time in the history of the NBA, passed Karl Malone by. He's still got about 1,500 points to pass Kareem.
He'll get that.
I think he will too, especially if he's going to stick around to play with Bronny. As long as he stays in shape, and the guy spends over $1 million a year on fitness and massage and every other technological thing that you can do, and he works at it. It's crazy.
He's got his own TB12 method.
Yeah, he does. So I got a feeling he'll be number 1, but he got to number 2. That's good enough for a gold for me. What are your medals?
My bronze medal goes to hockey. Alexander Georgiev is the Rangers goalie, and the Rangers having a rough stretch right now. 44 shots last night taken on him, 44 saves. Shutout,
huh?
Unbelievable game against the Hurricanes, and it's only the Hurricanes' 15th loss of the season, so a big game from that goalie.
Yeah.
My silver, it was a big day of racing yesterday for me. My silver goes to William Byron in the 24 car. The Liberty University Chevy wins.
So you go hockey, and you're going to go racing.
Well, we just talked 20 minutes about basketball, Dave. We got to cover all the sports that took place this week.
Lord.
But
you got your finger on the pulse there.
I really do. I really do. But he won in the new Atlanta. They just built a new track or repaved it, and it's like a super speedway track. It was really cool. But Ross Chastain went hard. He's a rookie, or not a rookie, but he's a younger driver. He went hard into the wall in like the 17th lap or something like that early in the race, was 4 laps behind, came all the way back to finish second, so he gets a silver medal from me. Unbelievable. And my gold medal, the Bahrain Grand Prix Formula One, first weekend of Formula One, Charles Leclerc and Ferrari. Ferrari takes 1-2. Ferrari hasn't even won a race since 2018. They're back. They got brand new cars this year, new bigger tires. The race was unbelievable. It was an unbelievable race. So Ferrari and Charles Leclerc get my gold medals.
I thought Ovechkin did something.
Ovechkin. Oh, I forgot about Ovechkin. He has tied Wayne Gretzky for 40 goal seasons, 12 of them now. So he's tied the great one.
To me, that's better than the goalie's performance and certainly more significant than the racing stuff.
Except for Formula One. I'll give you NASCAR, but Formula One's huge, Dave. Love Formula One.
Huge everywhere but in America.
That's right, unfortunately.
That is for sure. My rust should go to you for those lousy medals because those are awful, I must tell you. But my rust goes to two. I got 2 rusts. One is to the NCAA officiating. Not to take anything away from Drew Timme, because Drew Timme, I voted last night for the Wooden Award, and let me just tell you, Drew Timme is way, I'm not allowed to divulge, way up there. I mean, he's the best player on the best team, so, he was terrific, but how many times do you think he walked? Wait. Here's even better. Forget the walking, because his footwork is so excellent. That's why he gets away with it. Here's what I want to ask you. Is there a rule in college basketball? Because no one, I saw it called once so far in the tournament. No one seems to watch or call this particular rule. So I'm wondering if it's still in existence. That the offensive player, they got this thing called a lane. There's paint there. And the offensive player can only be in that paint for 3 seconds. That includes standing to get the ball. 3 seconds. And how long do you think Drew Timme is in that lane? First of all, when he catches the ball, he's already been in the lane at least a second, let's say. How many times does he sit and make moves for 4 or 5 seconds?
Well, it's like 1, 2, then you got to go April, May, June, July, and then you get to 3.
I think they go through the entire alphabet with him. It's incredible. They never call 3 seconds on the dude. If I am Eric Musselman, the first thing I'm saying to those referees when I come out, I'm going to go, hey, guys, everybody says Drew Timme travels. Please watch that. But even more importantly, see how long he stays in the lane. Because the dude can get called for 3 seconds in my mind forever. They never call it. So, and yesterday, if you think the Tigers got the raw end of the deal, Arizona, they're the luckiest team in America.
Really
because TCU had 2 major guys foul out. If TCU breathed on a guy, they got a call. They at the end of regulation in that game, they got a guy at the 10-second line that gets mauled, gets knocked over, and the ball gets stolen. No call. And fortunately, the guy didn't put the ball in the bucket to win the game right there. I mean, unbelievable. The higher seeds, maybe I'm making this up, but the higher seeds get the breaks. And the most egregious was not Memphis and Gonzaga. It was TCU and Arizona. And finally, Rex Chapman has to get a rush from me. Rex Chapman, from what I have seen, and I kind of heard it, I think it was tweeted out, or I'm not 100%. He tweeted out, or no, he said on the show that Pete Gillen had passed away. Pete Gillen is still working. He's still alive. Now, I don't know if he's working any games this weekend. I don't know if he got the NCAA tournament this year. But he's working for CBS Sports all year. And somehow Rex Chapman thought he had passed. Whew, Rex Chapman. You know, and this thing he's got with Candace Parker that's supposed to be, I guess they're trying to be like Kenny and Charles in a different kind of way. I mean, silly. I don't like it. I really don't. I feel bad for Seth Davis, who's trying to also be a part of that mix and try to be crazy. He needs to be straight because I think he's good. You know, he's one of the guys you love to hate. But anyway, Rex Chapman.
That's one of the
he gets a rush.
That's the most egregious thing you can do is kill somebody prematurely on air.
Exactly.
My Russ, I got to go back to Formula One.
Nice.
So, bad day for Red Bull. Red Bull, one of the big names in Formula One racing. They spend some of the most money, but whole new ball game here. Max Verstappen, who won the whole thing last year, is in second place the whole race. Tried to overtake, couldn't overtake. On the 34th or the 37th lap, his engine failed and the steering went out, so he's out of the race. Then his Red Bull teammate, on the first turn of the last lap, Sergio Perez takes this turn and his steering goes out. His steering locks up. So both Red Bulls, one of the biggest names in Formula One, both cars out of the race yesterday, and Ferrari gets to take one too. So my Russ goes to Red Bull. Bad day to be Red Bull.
Oh, wow. And now Red Bull's mad at you because they had nothing to do with that. They're just a sponsor.
That's right.
Oh, man. And those are our precious metals. I'm sitting in the Family Leisure Studios. A reminder, they're looking for self-motivated, goal-oriented people to join the family. If you're a salesperson, got a lot of different areas there. If you are service-oriented, parts and service departments need people. They need associates. How about a service technician? Got to have a driver's license for that. And they will add to their installation crews for above-ground pools. If you're good with that and you like to be outside, man, there's opportunity with a great business. Family-oriented, well-paying, good people. That's Family Leisure, I-40 and Whidden Road. And this portion of the show brought to you by Conway. Conway Services, heating, cooling, plumbing, electric, and the home of the Super 16-point Energy Saver tune-up. It is super. And again, now we're getting into air conditioning season. You get one tune-up in the winter, and you get into a safety inspection with that. Then you do one in the spring, so that you know your house will be cool. You do those two tune-ups. They're $69, and if you join the Comfort Club, you even get a better discount. But you do those two tune-ups, you'll save money on your MLGW bill, and your system will last longer. All you got to do is call 384-3511 Conway Services. We are back in just a minute. To Tampa we go. TJ Reeves is right around the corner.
Former Memphis Tiger Gabe Kuhn joins Brett Norsworthy for Sports Time on Sports 56, presented by Lexus of Memphis. Weekday afternoons from 3 to 6 on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Hi, friends. I'm Bill Russell at Russell Brothers Fine Jewelers, and for 5 decades, we've been the personal jeweler to thousands of Memphians and Mid-Southerners. For many, many years, we've been offering the finest and beautiful jewelry to help our customers celebrate those very special occasions and let their loved ones know just how treasured they are. Diamonds and gemstones are our specialty, and set in whatever she wants, a ring or a pendant, a pair of earrings or a bracelet. We search the world's most fabulous jewelry markets, looking for pieces that are not only exquisite and beautiful, but that are also unique and eye-catching. We can help you make her smile in a way that neither one of you will ever forget. Come see us at Russell Brothers Jewelers. Let us put our many years of experience to work for you. Let us help you say, I love you in the most wonderful way you can imagine. 5 decades providing beauty, value, quality, and service. Russell Brothers Fine Jewelers, 4646 Poplar at Perkins.
Tired of waiting on your sportsbook? Waiting for deposits and withdrawals? No more waiting with Action 24/7. We're cutting out the middleman. Deposit or withdrawal in cash. Action 24/7 has more than 100 partners in Tennessee for cash deposits and withdrawals. Visit action247.com for a location. Cash deposits and withdrawals from your Tennessee sportsbook. Action247.com. You got action.
Must be 21 or older and in Tennessee. For problem gambling support, call 800-889-9789.
The Family Leisure family is growing, and they want you to help them grow even more. Family Leisure is now hiring for multiple positions. They're looking for self-motivated, goal-oriented people to come and join their family. Some of the positions include sales for swimming pools, hot tubs, and patio furniture. There's sales and associates for chemicals. Parts and service department associates are needed. Service technicians, you got to have a valid driver's license, and cashiers are needed too. Family Leisure is also looking to add to their installation crews for building above-ground pools. Send your resume to Family Leisure now, 2120 Whitten Road, Memphis, Tennessee, 38133, or email memphis@familyleisure.com. You can also call 901-371-9090. So come and join the family at Family Leisure, Whitten Road at I-40, where family and fun and you all come together.
Are you ready for the Gossett Mitsubishi Spring Sales Event? It's on at Gossett Mitsubishi on the Pike. Need 41 MPG highway with gas prices that keep soaring? We got you covered in 2022 Mitsubishi Mirage G4. $189 a month or $14,999. 5 seats, 27 MPG combined. 2022 Mitsubishi Outlander Sport. $299 a month or $23,037. Plus, redesigned 2022 Outlander with 7-passenger seating and 27 MPG combined. $359 a month or $26,998. And get our stellar 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Gossett got it at Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike, or shop online at memphismitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 72 months, 500 military rebate, G4, NHF 03943, MSRP 16985, Sport, NU 006-786, MSRP 25407, Outlander NZO 6388, MSRP 292, includes all rebates and incentives, PF 695, excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 2/28/22, dealer stock only.
Now, back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56, presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again, it's the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
She's a good girl.
Welcome back to Tampa. We go, TJ Reeves. All right, your favorite moment of the NCAA, and I know it's not the Tigers game, but Memphis played hard.
Well, look, there was so much from this weekend. I mean, how do you not love what St. Peter's did as a 15 seed, as another reminder, Wolo, of what this tournament is all about, where the little guys get a chance. But yeah, as an alum coming in here on a Monday after Memphis has reestablished some credibility, has gone to the NCAA tournament and has won, as you have been touching on already on this show, and you've been touching on for the last few days leading up to the tournament, to get in the tournament, first time since 2014, and then to win a game against a Boise State team that had won the regular season in the Mountain West, had won the conference tournament in the Mountain West. Almost everybody had penciled in, if not put it in ink, let's have a Gonzaga Boise State matchup in the round of 32 in the second round. But Memphis was the better team there, and there's nothing to be ashamed of. I know we could be considered as biased or slanted, but how do you wake up on a Monday and say, when you're leading Gonzaga by 10 at the half and you're toe-to-toe with them in the second half and the game is tied with 4 minutes to go, that you should feel badly about that? I think Memphis is ascending. You're on your way back here, and you've got things to build on. And that Gonzaga team will likely win this thing, Wolo. You know that. They likely will end up being the champs. And if that's the case, there's no shame in having lost to the champs and played them that tough.
I'm 100% in agreement. I mean, if you look, they are actually 8.5-point favorites over Arkansas, which is a bigger margin than the Tigers were underdogs. I do think that game felt like a Final Four game for sure. And I love Penny's comments about being hungrier than ever and everything else. I think the future is really bright. I don't know if you've seen this yet. Amani Bates tweeted last night he's coming back. So the future is terrific. If we look at winners and losers, obviously St. Peter's is the biggest winner. What, 3,500 students?
No, 2,200. 2,200 students.
Oh, 2,200. Well, and a budget of 1.5 million, and Calipari's salary is 9 million. I mean, that is terrific. Losers, that's somewhat debatable, and you could say the SEC or the Big Ten, considering the SEC won one game. Arkansas is the only representative in the Sweet 16, and the Big Ten had 9 teams to start, and they have only 2 remaining in the Sweet 16. That has to be disappointing for that league, which again gets the most teams in and has the worst record after 2 rounds.
Well, and every year we say this, conference play is going to wear you down. We know that. But I mean, it's almost like excuse making, because everything was set up for Kentucky as a 2 seed, Auburn as a 2 seed, Tennessee as a 3 seed to at least get out of the first weekend. That's your point. And so when Kentucky loses to St. Peter's, which is really unforgivable. I mean, Calipari makes that like in November, that $1.5 million in the salary, and that's their whole budget to lose that. But I mean, even Auburn, it's set up for them to play a Miami team that they should be able to beat and at least be alive for the Sweet 16 with a chance at maybe Kansas or Providence at the top of that bracket. That didn't happen. And how about Tennessee? I know the outcry is there again, and you got Vol fans in the audience. I have no love for the Big Orange. I didn't go to Tennessee, but they're crying again about Rick Barnes in the postseason, underachieving at Texas when he was a high seed, and now here at Tennessee. I give Michigan a lot of credit. Michigan really played well in both games, obviously, and I think they outplayed Tennessee in the second half. It was a tough weekend for the SEC, a tough Saturday and Sunday for sure for the SEC. But you make a good point. I mean, the Big Ten only has 2 teams that survive the weekend, as it turns out, in Purdue and in Michigan. And Michigan was an 11 seed. All of their higher seeded teams, whether it be Wisconsin or Ohio State or all their teams at the top, they got knocked off as well, with the exception of Purdue. 7 Big Ten teams gone after the first weekend.
I would say Juwan Howard is amongst the winners. You mentioned the Michigan 2 wins. To beat Colorado State, they had to come from behind to do it, and I think they were down almost double digits in the first half. And then in the Tennessee game, if a guy needed to have some sort of reclamation of his character, his embrace with Kennedy Chandler trying to console the Memphian, the Tennessee guard, who probably is a one-and-done guy. He's that good. We'll see what happens there. But to console him that way, I think Juwan Howard sort of did a little 180 on his image.
Oh, I think it helps. There's no doubt. Now, the one joking thing, and I saw this from the anti-Michigan fans, is it's much easier to go console Kennedy Chandler when you won the game. It's a little different when you're consoling your own guys after you've lost the game. But I'm not going to nitpick at that, because he needs some image rebuild, and Juwan Howard has got a lot of good qualities about him. And let's hope that some of that image is getting rebuilt here, and he understands that he's now on a zero tolerance situation for anything else. But that was neat to see. It was neat to see him go down the tunnel right after that in Indianapolis, and there was Chris Webber, who's been estranged from the Michigan program for a couple of decades. But Webber and Howard were the Fab Five. With Jalen Rose, et cetera, and Jalen Rose was there too. But Howard and Chris Webber were having a moment where they were just hugging and jumping up and down. Because, again, Juwan Howard's been through the ringer emotionally and everything. There's people in and around the Michigan program saying that Phil Martelli should take over as the coach and Juwan Howard should be gone. So it was big for him to get those wins, and now they're in the Sweet 16 with Villanova. You definitely have brand names that have risen to the top, like Gonzaga, like Duke, like Michigan, like Villanova, like Kansas, like UCLA, even North Carolina. How about a UCLA North Carolina Sweet 16 game that'll be coming up in Philadelphia? That'll be a lot of fun as well, Wolo.
All right, let me throw you a curve. I didn't warn you about this, but late last night, and I waited to the end, partially because I was out of town, but partially I love seeing the guys have to play under pressure. I had to vote for the Wooden Award. Today, noon is the deadline, so I did it late last night. Who would you have picked as the Wooden Award, the Heisman Trophy for college basketball? Who's your man?
I'm not looking to stick the knife in you on a Monday morning, and I'm an alum too. Do we dare say Drew Timme, and especially after the way he plays Saturday night? I mean,
you're 100% correct. That's exactly how I went. Drew Timme is the best player. He is on the best team, and I think they'll win their national title. And when they were down at the half, and they were down by 12 early in that second half, he said, give it to me. He scored 11 straight points. Now he camps in the lane a little bit. He probably gets away with walking because he is so fundamentally sound with his footwork, but he fools them. But nonetheless, the will to win, the amazing abilities that he has, I think he's the player of the year, no question.
And you could argue Sheboy at Kentucky had a monstrous season and was the SEC player of the year. And Paulo Banchero is tremendous at Duke. And when they had to have it, he was making big plays against Michigan State. But Timme has been tremendous as their best player. And he was their inspirational leader at halftime of that game. Let us not forget, Tigers up 10. Again, I'm not trying to twist the knife on you.
Sure.
But the Tigers up 10. And Drew Timme rallied the troops in the tunnel after they came out of the locker room and said, we're not losing. Exactly what you just said. Hop on my back. Nemhard was tremendous. He fired those guys up. Let's see how long Gonzaga can last. I mean, I like their setup because Arkansas does not play the same way that Memphis plays. Not nearly as up and down, not nearly as athletic. That favors Gonzaga, and I like Gonzaga against either Texas Tech or Duke because the Duke game's a rematch for them to be back in the Final Four. So I don't disagree with your Timme pick. Others might say Sheboy might take somebody else out of the Big Ten, but that's a legit Wooden pick. I would agree with you on that.
I would, Coburn from the Big Ten, Kofi, I had him in my top 5. One guy we have not mentioned that I had very high is Colin Gillespie, the guard from Villanova. And you're going to see more of him because I got a feeling Villanova is going to get into the Final Four. All right, last thing for our friend TJ Reeves, and that has to do with his thing, and that's the NFL. And first off, congratulations on an incredible career for your cohort, who has decided, Gene Deckerhoff, to retire from Florida State. And what has he got? 1 year left with the Bucks. And
so
then,
the way that
my man,
the way that he is
you, I hope.
Well, we'll see what happens when that time comes. The man's a Hall of Famer, 43 years at the mic for Florida State football and basketball. So he has decided to hang him up for Florida State effective now, right after their spring game. He's done his last regular season football or basketball game. And then he says he's going to fulfill his Buccaneer contract, which would be this season. Will the Bucs tug at him to do more? Again, Gene gets to decide whenever it is that he's going to step away. He's in the Florida Sports Hall of Fame. And so let's see if Gene wants to do it. Tom Brady is back for another year in Buccaneer land. Gene's going to do it for one more year. And I'm anxious to see what all this will happen. I will say to you, you know this already because you've been around Gene 40 years. When he was doing games in the old Metro Conference at the Mid-South Coliseum, you were around him. Gene is as good a guy, as phenomenal a broadcaster. He's just like Dave Woloshin. I'm propping you both up. He's as good a guy off the air as what you hear with those thrilling calls. I keep joking. If he was driving down the road and you had a flat tire and he didn't even know you, he would pull over and help you. If you needed to be picked up at the airport at 1 o'clock in the morning, Gene would be there. He's that kind of guy. Phenomenal broadcaster. Good for him to enjoy some retirement, but he's still got another Buccaneer season left. And let's hope it's a big one, my friend.
All right. Last thing on the NFL, the Deshaun Watson unbelievable deal with Cleveland. And the guaranteed money he's getting is amazing. What a risk, in my opinion, that Cleveland is taking.
Well, and you've got so many layers to this, and I know you got to go in a second, but they held out to get number 1 picks, and they got those from the Cleveland Browns. We don't know if he's going to get suspended, and he likely will. Even without being criminally charged, there have been other players like Ezekiel Elliott of the Cowboys, Ben Roethlisberger of the Steelers that were not criminally charged, Wolo, and still got a 4-game suspension. So I know it's only for part of one season. This is a 5-year deal, and Cleveland looking at longevity. But this is it's caused a lot of controversy, and rightfully so, with all the accusations. And Cleveland now has welcomed that in and said, bring the controversy and the heat to us for Deshaun Watson. It's never dull in the NFL, is it, my friend? And it's even there is no off season. There's no off season with this stuff.
It appears never dull with the Haslam's as well. Thank you, TJ. As always, we truly appreciate it.
Hey, I always love being with you. I am thrilled for what the Tigers were able to do down the stretch and in March. And now we see what happens with the rest of this tournament, and I look forward to being with you. We'll be at the Final Four in a couple of weeks. I look forward to being with you when we're in New Orleans and see who's there. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you, TJ. Yeah, we got the Final Four, and then it's the Masters. Oh, what a great time of the year. And, yeah, the Tigers really did play where it made you proud. It truly did. Again, the season ended with a lot of hope, in my opinion. And I can tell you who else was proud. The proud hometown partner of the Tigers, that would be Old Dominick with their fantastic bourbon that is going to be released, that their master distiller, Alex, has waited a long, long time. Alex Castle says, I never release anything until it's perfect. She's been on the money. If you would like to know more about their product, go see the tour. You'll really get a full understanding. They're the only full distillery tour in Memphis, 45-minute sensory journey. It begins with the history of the Old Dominick whiskey and its founder, Domenico Canelli. Then you get a close look at the craft of distilling. I mean, from grain to glass, you'll learn about it all. And then the best part, a curated tasting of the Old Dominick portfolio of spirits. Go to olddominick.com. You'll find out about tour availability. And, of course, our title sponsor for this hour, it's Homer Skelton Hyundai in Olive Branch. And I like to say this because I really do believe they've raised the bar. They have set the standard for the way car business should be done. And they have a very outspoken, honest, on-the-money general manager named Chris True. He's been there for several years now. And Chris will tell you straight out, you will never pay more than sticker price at Homer Skelton Hyundai. Now, not all dealerships who are sort of taking advantage of the shortage with the computer chips and everything else, taking advantage of the times. That won't happen. Not with Chris True and with Homer Skelton Hyundai. You never pay more than sticker price. We take this quick timeout. When we come back, Grizzlies were winners last night. There's a little cushion now with Golden State. We'll talk about that in a second.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Hi, friends. I'm Bill Russell at Russell Brothers Fine Jewelers, and for 5 decades, we've been the personal jeweler to thousands of Memphians and Mid-Southerners. For many, many years, we've been offering the finest and beautiful jewelry to help our customers celebrate those very special occasions and let their loved ones know just how treasured they are. Diamonds and gemstones are our specialty, and set in whatever she wants, a ring or a pendant, a pair of earrings or a bracelet. We search the world's most fabulous jewelry markets, looking for pieces that are not only exquisite and beautiful, but that are also unique and eye-catching. We can help you make her smile in a way that neither one of you will ever forget. Come see us at Russell Brothers Jewelers. Let us put our many years of experience to work for you. Let us help you say, I love you in the most wonderful way you can imagine. 5 decades providing beauty, value, quality, and service. Russell Brothers Fine Jewelers, 4646 Poplar at Perkins.
Looking for a new job? Contact Pro Resume. Sending out hundreds of resumes. No response? Contact Pro Resume. Tired of working for peanuts? Contact Pro Resume. Pro Resume's the resume expert in the Mid-South. Go to ProResume.biz or call 685-1950. The fastest way to a new job.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
If you have damage to your home and have your insurance carrier involved, you need a great contractor. You also need a team that has seen claims of all shapes and sizes, residential or commercial. After our inspection, we'll share our findings and give you our professional opinion. Some people say you get what you pay for. However, our opinion is free. Trust the name you can depend on, like the tens of thousands of families Brian and I have served over the past 20 years here in the Mid-South. Brian Elder Roofing. We'll measure your roof from outer space and share our team's experience for your property and claim. Repaired roofs, replacement roofs, big roofs, tiny roofs, insurance roofs, flat roofs, TPO roofs, asphalt roofs, tile roofs, slate roofs, metal roofs. If your roof needs some love, call me. 901-867-0303 for Brian Elder Roofing and Contracting.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Now, back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56, presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
Why don't you all fade away? Don't try to dig what we all.
We welcome you back. This is the final portion of the show, brought to you by James Davis Men's Store in the Laurelwood Shopping Center. You know, James Davis is where you can get the Stant Custom Fit system. I'd go in there, I'd talk about that. That's the new technology with the algorithm, and you get an affordable custom shirt or pair of pants at a reasonable price. You've got to wait about 3 weeks now, but it's really cool, the best fitting you've ever had. And all the new fashions, summer, spring, they're in. It looks like a rainbow in there. It's beautiful. It really is. And let them help you, and you'll find the latest. You want the newest of the shorts or the beautiful khakis. Everything is there. All the lightweight pullovers for some cool spring. It's all there. You'll love it. James Davis Men's Store, the men's store of Memphis, in the Laurelwood Shopping Center. Real quick, here's the list, I think, of the top 10 for the Wooden Award. So you tell me if you're on board with me, if anybody's missing. You got to go with Walker Kessler, right? He was terrific. Johnny Davis at Wisconsin, I don't know if you saw him or E.J. Liddell play. And Liddell was really good in the Ohio State game yesterday, but unfortunately they didn't have much more than him. Obviously, Chet Holmgren in there. Oscar Schwebe from Kentucky, it was as good as it gets. So was Coffee Coburn for Illinois. And there was some crazy officiating in that. I don't know if you saw it, but Brad Underwood was really complaining. I thought Houston dominated. Their defense was incredible in that game. But also in that game, there was a technical called on a dunk, and they got outscored like by 15 points right after that call. And all he was doing was he was like a rocket ship to dunk, and he was basically saving himself from hitting his head on the standard or something. And it was a bad call. Officiating was...
That's why they got a rust.
Colin Gillespie, the kid from Villanova, how steady is he? I mean, he's a big reason why they're so good. Paulo Banchero from Duke is, you talk about freshmen, Jabari, Bates, Holmgren. That's a pretty good class, and Banchero is going to go in the top 5 of the NBA draft, I'm pretty sure. And then Drew Timme. That is a pretty good list of college players. So last night, the Grizzlies, without Ja again, were winners. It's amazing what their record without Ja is. I mean, it's jaw-dropping, as they like to say. But, that's just, I don't know. That's a quirky thing. I really
14-2, though. You're right. That's nothing to sneeze at.
It's weird, right? Bane was terrific last night. 24 points, 5 rebounds, 7 assists, 3 steals. They win at 122-98 over the hapless Houston Rockets. They hit 16 threes in that game. He had 14 steals, 26 assists, 1 rebounds, 1 paints in the points. So now they're 49-23. So 72 games in. They've got 10 to go. Franchise record's 55, right?
That's right. That's what we've said.
Right. So can they get 7 wins in 10 games?
Well, you would think so, right? They're 7-3 in their last 10. So, and to look at their record the whole season, they're certainly on pace to do that.
They're absolutely on pace to do it. Now they got the Nets on Wednesday. NBA Countdown with Stephen A. Smith.
They'll be here.
That should be fun, and that'll be Kevin Durant. That should be Durant and Kyrie Irving.
That's right.
That'll be fun. Then at home, they have 3 more games. After that, they have the Pacers. They'll be favored in that game at home. They have the Bucks, who, I don't know, that'll be fun. And then the big showdown with Golden State, which could mean they get second for sure. I think they're going to get second without Steph Curry playing.
Yeah, they struggled last night, too. The Warriors did.
Well, there was a weird call at the end of that game,
too,
and missed free throws. Crazy story there. But anyway, so they need to get 7 out of 10 to get the franchise record. I think it's there. It's within reach. We'll have to see. And we're going to have fun this week because we got to get somebody on about that game on Wednesday. That will be absolutely terrific. And that is our show for today. Man, sort of sad to see the Tigers season come to an end. I could be leaving for San Francisco tomorrow. I never got my heart in San Francisco, you could say. And this final portion of the show brought to you by the Spirit Shop, where I'll now go stock up to drown my sorrows. I love talking to Eddie Connor. He'll fill me in on what's the newest, like bourbons. And by the way, they have Old Dominic bourbon in there. Bourbon, tequila, anything. Wines, the newest up and coming, or the old standbys. Here's what I love about Eddie and his family. First, they educate you, that's for sure. But like if they have old something from 1997 and it's underneath a pile, whatever that price tag says, that's what you pay. It doesn't go up. He keeps it the way it was. It's outstanding. Go see him right at the corner of Poplar and St. Nick. That'll do it for us. Johnny Radio's next.
I know the sweetest thing in Memphis, and I know